So when you receive the new instrument, in the data sheet, you have two IP addresses. One for the USB, one for the Ethernet connection.
We can change address or not?
You can change later. So you go on Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, and you type the IP address of the instrument. And as it's the first connection is a bit slow, but
Okay, for the easy to demo, can I get the connect out and to connect with the another internet?
I don't have the cable for Ethernet.
Yeah.
I have USB only.
Okay. Can put with the.
It's a prototype, so I'm not sure it's working. That I don't have real demo. It's prototype. It's only for exhibition. If I had the chance to have a real product, be sure I would have bring it. That's why it's only 5 channels. So if you see the front, here it's 5 channels. So here it was written ANA1. That means analogical 1. It's ANA5. So channel 5 is there. And we go up. FD5, 10, 15. So when you purchase FD system, you purchase master module. So in the price list there is FD5, FD10, FD15, according to the number of channels you look for. Then we can have up to 2 slave modules. So slave modules you need to have one master, and then you have some communication port here. That means you can put there on that side. There. These 2 connections are for additional modules, slave modules. That means you can go up to 45 channels.
Okay, I understand.
It's a bit slow to connect.
Họ connect với internet chưa?
There is no need of internet. It's even if I don't have internet, you can use it. That's the purpose of the instrument. But it doesn't function since 3 days, so sometimes it's a bit slow. There is like a server inside. So that's where we are looking for the software.
Có một connect về server không?
Không, cái này là server luôn em. Server ở trong này luôn rồi. Các bạn thân thằng này server đây rồi.
Maybe it will be better.
Giống như cái con của mình có một cái máy tính đâu mình connect vô server.
Yeah, sometimes it's not working properly, but that's part of the job. For that, we use either Google Chrome, either Internet Explorer, nothing else. Oh, I don't know why it's still connected? Ah, yeah. That's connected now.
Tắt đèn, tắt điện nó.
So it needs to always be on power supply. If it's not working. And sometimes there is additional reason, but I don't know why it was working last time. Maybe it's already. Acquisition mode, okay.
Tắt điện được không? Đó điện này. Rồi. Power supply off. Cắm cho nó chuẩn cho cái.
It's okay. I have some light in,
Rồi. Okay.
so it's functioning.
Okay.
But sometimes as it is a prototype and not a real one, it's slightly messing with me. But we need to see the system. It's not relevant if we don't use it.
Trực tiếp chắc ăn không?
Why? 192.
One or two.
No, that's the
On that
alarms.
one.
That's because I started an acquisition.
อืม
192, 1682.
USB cái này coi nó hát là này USB cộng USB.
So please try this address.
192.168.
Dot 5 116 116. No, please try this.
I know, the other one is
Con
Ethernet
USB.
label. Ah, that's functioning.
Mình đang sử dụng cái nối USB.
So, when it's functioning, you arrive after typing the IP address of the instrument on this page. So, we will go in English. Then, you will ask to be identified. So, in standard, it's admin as user and the same as password. Customer can change later. So, you go in. First things, you check acquisition is not on. Because if it's already on, you cannot do anything. You go on configuration, analogical. So you see channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I have 5 channels. I double click. So here on my first,
Có hình trên channel.
I have an RTD. So that's good. RTD, it's a PT100. It's a 4-wire connection. I
One
want
or four.
4-wire.
But that need a two temperature sensor.
But the other one is,
Two.
it's to show you later something.
Okay.
So you configured everything there. So here, this one is already configured. And you see the display. You can even add the previous value if you already record something before. So there it's configuration of each input board. You double click on it and then you configure it. Then you have limits. Limits, it's in case you want some relay, some alarms. Okay, so you have to be on. You configure it. You configure the temporization how many times, and you configure when it appears. On appearance, on disappearance, on both. Okay, and you put a number. The number is to help you later to identify the alarms. So for this channel, we will not change a lot, so we will validate it. But if you look, what's the option? Voltage. So voltage. I can select a range. Then I can select always the accuracy. But you see there, you cannot change anything.
Scale type, what does that mean?
Scale type, it's if you want to do some scaling there. The number of points you want.
Number point.
Scale type here is not available because you put a range. Then you will be able to select some scaling thing. But it will be on pharmaceutical market only. So you see there are plenty of things not accessible because voltage we don't need them. Okay? We can put current. So same, we select the right range. Does the scale is linear or quadratic? Because both exist on the market. The accuracy, okay? Connection you cannot change because if it's 420 milliamps, connection is always the same. It's not like PT100, sometimes 2, sometimes 3, sometimes 4 wires. Connection is there to identify the connection. Physical unit will remain like this. Then resistance, same. You can select range and resistance can be plugged on different way, 2, 3, 4 wire. So we have thermocouples. You can put the type of thermocouples because all of them have different results. Accuracy, and then thermocouple, you can show the result either in temperature or voltage, because the result of a thermocouple is millivolts. So there you select what you want to see. Then conjunction. Internal. There is a small conjunction inside the instrument. So if you don't need high precision, you use internal conjunction. That's sufficient. Some people will use fixed conjunction. If you say fixed, that means there you have to complete a value. But that kind of things is wrong in metrology, because temperature of a room will change. If you say fixed, that means on all your recording, you keep the same value. So it's an option that was requested but not really useful. Then you can also put a different conjunction. So here I'm in 5 channels modules. I can put a second probe. So there I'm on channel 3. Maybe I want that channel 1 is my conjunction, so the temperature measured by channel 1 will be conjunction value, not the conjunction inside the instrument. It's when a laboratory want to double check, want a high accuracy.
Hai đứa có hiểu conjunction không? Hiểu.
Con này nó hay con nó biết luôn.
Con cũng có hiểu về conjunction không?
Con mình chữ mình làm.
Lộc hiểu không? Cái đó là cơ bản nhất của cảm biến nhiệt độ. Không phải đọc. Khâu conjunction nhiều hơn. Okay.
And then, of course, you can delay the conjunction. There is a formula you can put if you configure ABC. ABC is if you do the calibration of the probes. If you do a calibration of probes, you will have coefficient. So instead of making the measurement and then by hand writing all the coefficient and making all the calculation, you can write your formula and then you can complete there the coefficient.
To connect with the another module, need master or just slave only?
No.
You see, this is the maximum 13, 15
yeah.
channel, and we can extend module here. So the same configuration to connect or
no,
this is the master.
The slave will be connected there.
Yeah.
The 2 cables there. They will be exactly same size and same design. And you can.
What is the difference between the slaver and master configuration? Same.
If you look, if you go there, I have only 5 channels.
Yeah.
Then you put, your customer has 5 channels. He say, I want 10 additional channels. I cannot modify this one. But he can purchase a slave module of 5 channels. He will put another box who look exactly the same on the top. And he will connect on this one.
But how about the price? The price of the slaver module, the same with master?
No, price is slightly lower because there is not the same component inside. If you look at the price list, there is FD5 and you will see FD5S. S it means slave. So here, if I connect the slave, instead of 5, you see 5 boards, I will have 5 other boards. But every time I only connect my laptop to the master module. I never connect myself to the slave module. I don't need to.
So in that case, can we understand this is the master, and this is slave, because you connect PC with the.
No, the PC is connected only to configured. But during the acquisition, this is the master.
Okay, understand.
So you see, it's pretty easy. You go on each channel, double click, and you configure. You have everything, thermistors, continuity. We have a lot of options. So that's why we say universal input. And every time you can put the coefficient and you can put the formula. That means if you do calibration on your probes, you can already implement in the software. Every time you can add limits, and every time you can name the group of the limits. But once the board has been configured, you can configure some outputs. It is the same. We have two outputs there. We double click. Output 1. What will be the first value? What formula we want to put in? So, in the formula, we will require some of the channels. So that's why you can go there. You have all mathematical formula, statistic formula, and the channels available on your data acquisition system. So here it's output. If you look, output, that's the two there. The two there are the two outputs. If you want to configure an output signal. If instead you want input, we are there. But it will be digital. But this one is not used. This one is input or output.
What is the maximum value for output voltage?
10 volts.
10 volts.
Yeah. So this one is digital input or output. Nowadays it's not used anymore. It was a request for a specific customer. No one is using it. So it's still existing in the product, but no one will never ask to use it.
Digital output?
Yeah. It was a customer in France who do mushroom in the basement of Paris. He wanted that. He was the only one. Relays. So if you look, you have there two relays. So you can configure them. The objective of the relay is to trigger an alarm or to send a signal somewhere. So same, you have the name. You can always change the name to have this more communicative for you. You put the start value and you define the formula. So same, you don't need to be really highly qualified. All the terms are here. Statistic terms, mathematical terms, and you have all your input and output displayed there. So when you want to make a calculation, everything is already pre-configured. That's why you start by configuring your channel. Because if you don't configure the channel, you are not able to make any calculation, and so not able to do relays. You can create calculation channels. So, for example, I want to use the value of temperature 1 and the value of temperature 2, and I want to make divided by 2. I want to see the average temperature of the two probes. For example, I want the average temperature of the room, and I put one probe on each side of the room. So that's the calculation channels. So if there is an error, if there is a trouble during the measurement, during the calculation, which value do I show? Either I define value, so I have to indicate there the value I want to see. Either I show the previous value, and then I can put an unit. If you don't complete, the unit will be the one that the calculation system is detecting there. And then we configured some alarms first. So you edit alarm group, or you create new alarms. Once you create a new alarms, you double click on it. So today we created alarm 1 on the third channel on temperature. So the text is, you decided temperature out limit. Okay, that's something that people can understand. where do I record it? Today, most people keep internal memory. However, if you are recording all your measurement on a USB stick, you change that. You put USB stick. You want to have all value on the same page.
How about the place to store value on the web internet? That means we can connect this with the file server.
Yeah.
We keep data on there.
No, you cannot keep data on the server. Data will be registered on the system on USB stick. We cannot transfer data immediately.
Because nowadays the generation for the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
We need to store data on cloud or.
The objective of FD is not acquisition like all our competitor is doing. The objective of FD is supervision. So that means you have a room, you want to supervise temperature. We don't want to interact. The system there is not made to communicate with anyone. If we have relays, it's because sometimes in hospital we use to supervise the temperature of a room because they are making some analysis. If we reach a certain level, we have to inform people. That's why there is relay. But then relay are not used to any process or production. Today, you find a lot of this system in laboratory. You find a lot of people using for calibration, and you find in hospital and pharmaceutical industry. In process and in all kind of industry, if you find it, that means you already have a data acquisition system from another brand communicating with PLC. And then we want something to, we say, monitor the situation. It's monitoring, supervision. It's not made to act. It's to register the results and to show. So, for example, we sold one on a bridge. The guy put humidity sensor, wind sensor, and then a lot of strength sensor.
Yeah.
So, you have a first line when it check weather condition, humidity and wind.
How about the wide LAN to connect with this file server? Because on the bridge, many sensors you say the LAN.
Then that's the cable, cable and transmitters. That's not a problem of our system. Then you will have to dig a solution with a sensor manufacturer. For example, for the probes, I have something really small, but it's for demo. You can connect bigger probes. It's what you require, it's universal input. Then the sensor is whatever you want. If you put strength sensor with cable of 1 kilometer long, that's fine. Then you can plug it. You just have to find the right sensor. And then we will do the recording. So that's highly interesting because then people can use it for everything.
Ông vừa nói một cái thí nghiệm về liên quan đến cái cầu á. Có trên một cái cầu người ta cần đo về cái độ bóng của cầu thì một cách độ gió, độ ẩm như thế nào đó. Thì trên cái cầu đó đặt rất nhiều con sensor ra, cảm biến các vị trí khác nhau để khi mà đi qua thì nó cong hay nó ấy như thế nào cũng được này, nó connect về cái này. Hoặc là trong các cái phòng người ta cần vẽ cái bản đồ nhiệt. Ở trong phòng nó có rất nhiều vị trí thay đổi như thế nào theo cái thí nghiệm.
So there. Most of the time we select one of the two relays for the alarms. And the option LED is if you are on a customer side. On a customer side, if you select LED, that will be this two small LED there, two small light. So there is no use in industry. It's only to check if your system is functioning properly. As it is supervision, as it can function without being connected to your laptop, we need to be sure the system is functioning. So the two alarms there is for the guy on the field to sometimes push the system to the limit, to push a fault, and to be sure it's still recording. Because as your laptop is not connected all the time, if there is a fault, you will not be informed immediately. So one of the options, most of the time we put relay. If you are connected to any internet server, if you are connected to the Ethernet through Ethernet cable to your company and there is Ethernet access, you can put an email address. And when you reach the level, the guy will receive an email. And in the email, it will be written alarm group 1, temperature out of limits. Nothing more.
Sao được kiểu của mình nữa?
It's just small information.
Tìm một sản phẩm thấy là nó nhiều.
Đó, có
Tại đó mua hôm này.
So you can configure as much alarm as you want. The only thing to keep in mind is we only have 2 dry relays.
Nó chỉ có tích hợp chuẩn của nó thôi.
So as we only have 2 dry relays, if you configure some alarms, you have to make sure when you put relay 1 for signals, relay 1 is triggered always separately than, for example, if you see relay 1 for the 2 alarms, temperature out of limit and high, that means we have to avoid to have both alarms in the same time. Because if we have both alarms in the same times, we are informed that there is an alarm, but we don't know immediately which one. However, as I said, we don't really care, because the objective here is to do supervision. When you do supervision, you don't want to check alarms every time. But if you put relays, that means you still want to be informed. So that means it will be only informative measurement, and the guy would have to come to connect the laptop and to check what will be the subject of the alarms. But you can configure alarms without any information, without any signals. The purpose of configuring an alarms is when you will download the data after your acquisition, it will be indicated, alarm triggered. Most of the time, people keep one relays. They don't know which alarm was triggered, but for highly important process, it's important. They inform, they can come. So there we configured alarms, we configured calculation and analogical input. That's what is highly important. So today we see 5 analogical inputs.
This product not have potential in our area.
Okay. Yeah. So then you go on system.
Yeah.
You see time and date never change automatically with your laptop. For one reason, we are compatible with pharmaceutical norms 21 TFR. That means every value, even time and date, if you change them, it has to be recorded. So that means you change it. If you record some data, when you will extract the data, the result will show that you, admin, change the data. So then you go on acquisition and you launch your acquisition. So start. So you see, first probe is connected, it's functioning. Then I don't connected anything there. So broken wire. You know that there is a trouble. Then I configured a thermocouples. He is not able to detect the fault. There, voltage signals. Voltage signals, maybe we are really at 0, so we don't detect any troubles. Calculation, broken wire, because yeah, we are linked there. Then we have the output, we have nothing. And if we go on alarms, no alarm display, because at the moment I didn't trigger any alarms. So there I'm connected. Acquisition have been launched. I disconnect. So the USB is disconnected. I don't see anything on my laptop. It's still recording. Then, maybe a few days later, I want to check the data. So I come back. I connect to enter. I go on acquisition. See, it's still recording. That means you need your laptop only to configure it
And to see the data.
and then to see the data in real time. And I don't have memory here because it's prototype, but usually when you say I stop the acquisition, acquisition stop, you go on data, and there you have files
Okay.
with your data. Here, I don't. The data I can have here are some result of earlier test I did.
Nó bỏ cái thẻ nhớ trong lưu trữ trong đó luôn.
So you see all results will appear there, and then you can put them here, you can organize.
Cái này bán Việt Nam gì?
If you go in configuration,
Bán cho ai?
you can reconfigure everything. But you see there, configuration list. That means if your customer has different configuration, I can configure different things. For example, car tool. Now I selected, it didn't work. Car tool. Look, selected.
Yeah, we
So all
we
art-
will publish for this section.
Yeah.
Yeah. For another product.
So you have plenty of options with that, but
Yeah.
supervision.
But in case if we have potential, we will read document.
Okay.
Because this time to us.
So when you extract data, something to know, it's Excel files.
We still have another product, so focus about.
So Vislog software. Vislog software can be sold most of the time with FD system, but it can also be sold alone. What is the purpose of Vislog? Vislog can control all AOIP products with memory, FD system included. With FD system, you will have one master module, 15 channels, and maybe two 15 channel slave. It's 45 channels. Maybe it's not sufficient. So you will buy a second master and you will put other slave.
In case if you want to modify the visual software, can you give us a short code or not?
No.
Because in some case you see client may require software to connect with this device or the benchtop device. If we develop the new software, maybe the cost very high. We just want to maybe modify something in the visual, or because visual already connect and get data and control product.
Yeah, but we don't do it for a simple reason: the patent of the software. If you look, Vislog software can also be offered to customers having Isotech and Armitech drive block calibrators. The thing is, we make a package sometimes in laboratory. One FD system, one Isotech drive blocks, and maybe one or two AOIP calibrators. Customer doesn't want to control each instrument one by one. He go on the laptop, he takes Vislog software, he can configure the set point of each instrument, Armitech, Isotech, AOIP, and he can receive the data.
But how about the software for Armitech or Isotech? They can do.
They have a software too, equivalent to Vislog, but functioning only on their plant.
Okay, understand.
The advantage of AOIP is we start only with AOIP, but now we can do Isotech and Armitech.
Please show me the visual demo.
If you can go on AOIP website and download the 30-day trial. Most of the information about Vislog will be in the datasheet.
And the download.
And training for Vislog is available only in France by Mr. Magalhaes. To be honest, when I sell Vislog, the standard version, customers don't want any training. He take care of it on its own. So the purpose of Vislog is to be sold with additional module. One for calibration, one for thermal mapping. And in this case, Pierre Magalhaes is the only one able to train people. Even I'm not able to use all this module. So the only training available is in France with Pierre Magalhaes. We can still give technical support to customers abroad, but fee is charged. Because last time we give support to a Indian customer and we spent 2 weeks implementing all formula inside.
So just compatible with the Isotech and Amitech only, another
Yes.
brand?
Now, we have few art scientific instruments, but the trouble is you need to have the agreement of the other brands. So Isotech give it to AOIP because we are working together. Amitech give it because Dimelco is owning the authorization to sell Amitech, so the other brand doesn't want, because that means their software is useless.
So that, no.
If you buy software from Amitech, you can deal only with Amitech product. If you buy from Isotech, only Isotech product.
But do you have plan to integrate with the Flux?
We don't have the authorization. Tomorrow, Flux give me the authorization? Yes, I will add. But the problem is authorization.
Okay.
Today, if I could put all the brand in, it would be amazing. That means I can lead the market. One software for all kind of brands. Today, that's not possible. But at this system, also something important. You see this blue thing on the top? A lot of people forget to use it because they say it's just for design. No, it's not just for design. If you do temperature acquisition, it's temperature protection. Because if you don't put that, that means here we have ventilation on the system to keep the cold junction of good quality. If you don't put that, on the front we are not ventilating. That means we will have certain impact on the cold junction and quality of cold junction will decrease. I have some people telling me that their value is different with the same test. And when I checked, yes, they did the same test, but without the protection there. Every environmental condition that can have an impact on the instrument are important. When you do calibration, metrological calibration, you see you have a regulated temperature in a room. So that's the same there. We have a cold junction, we have a regulated temperature inside the instrument. If we don't do that, the value have no purpose, no utility. So then a really small range, but
I'm not sure I understand this type, bro. So the training.
so the understanding is pretty easy. The main purpose is triggering an explosive device without having any explosion. So you see most of the time you will have an electrical component going inside and there will be gas, powder or anything explosive. My instrument will come there and will check the resistance, because if we send voltage, it's exploding. That's not good. If I test the resistance, I know the resistance inside and I know if it can explode when I will send voltage. The different applications are automotive industry. If you look at airbags, when it's exploding, there is a small explosion-proof cells. We have to test it. That's what we do with that. The equipment we offered is the only one. I don't have the data sheet. Is the END. If you look at AOIP catalogs, the catalogs, not leaflets.
Cái tiếng Việt chỉ ra gì đó.
But
Có hoa rồi cái trái dữ.
there, you look, you have END.
Có hoa.
It's small box, and we will use resistance. It's resistance measurement. The resistance inside the explosive device will allow us to know if the product is functional or not. The principle is just as it is written, benchtop ohm meters. So it's resistance measurement. So we have one standard on-site pyrotechnical ohm meter, this one. That is sold by plenty of AOIP partners because it's easy to sell. it's standard instrument. Then we have END. It's for inflammators in airbags. We can sell the product we already have. Sometimes we have to do some adjustments. Today we have 3 references because AOIP is leading the French and the European market. All European customers of such kind of system are buying from AOIP.
For a pyrotechnic?
Yeah. Pyrotechnical instruments, you have one US guy, one Asian guy, and AOIP in France. So AOIP is leading all Europe. So EMD, it's resistance measurement. The resistance should match the result of the explosion you want. So first market, automotive industry, airbag inflated test. So in Europe, the 2 customers are Flexmont and Autoliv. They are the main subcontractor of automotive industry. So 2 of them work only with AOIP. We have
But until now, you just apply in the aircraft industrial only. There are another industrial apply this product.
we cannot target a lot of industry.
Yeah, but what industrial to apply your product?
Automotive subcontractor. Do you have someone manufacturing airbags?
I don't think they don't have.
So in this case, we will not have a lot of requests for such product. The other pyrotechnical instrument will be the one there. So MF system, it's for ammunition manufacturer. We have to trigger the ammunition without having an explosion. So that's the same principle. It's resistance measurement, but it's highly secured. So this one, or we have this one. So those instruments are only micrometer, ohmmeter, megometer, but it's highly secure. You see there is a key there, because the objective is everyone should not have access to that kind of instrument. And MF24, like the MF37, are not often sold directly. We most of the time have to do some adjustment, some development. Today in Europe, we are leading the market. Outside Europe, there is certainly a local supplier. So we win a big deal in South Africa last year and this year. The guy was an ammunition manufacturer. He was using American pyrotechnical instrument. And he asked AOIP if we can develop something new from nothing. We said we don't want to develop, and we offered him this solution. And we indicate all the deviation. He ordered once last year and tested during 1 year. It's a product around 25,000 up to 35,000 euros, with no possibility of any discount. The guy tested during a year, and nowadays he is using it, and he purchased a second one. So it's specific market. Today we don't ask partners to do promotion in there, but if you have any request, just feel free to forward all technical features you received, and we will tell you if we can answer or not. So I will speak about Sofimae. Do your company has an accredited laboratory? No. So Sofimae is accredited laboratory, so equivalent to UK's and so on. So who will be your potential customer? Potential customer are all companies having quality protocol. They need it. And when they do one, they need one every year or sometimes every 6 months. So what I recommend is, if a customer is asking you accredited certification, AOIP can offer at the order of a new instrument. Then every year or every 6 months, I recommend you to go to Singapore and to discuss with ASIS because they have ISOLab.
Right.
So they will be able to do new calibration report.
Sure.
You show them the report that AOIP did on a new instrument, and they will do a new one exactly the same. So today AOIP is accredited in temperature, electricity magnetism, time frequency. We also have pressure lab, but pressure lab is not accredited yet. What we have in our catalogs for calibration, standard call flag on all AOIP products. That means if a customer is asking for standard calibration certificate, yes. If he tell you I want specific point on it, we will have to make a specific quotation.
So why every time we want to ask you that or certificate of the OM 16, you say no, just the call front only. But
yeah, only call
cost
flag.
Very high.
Yes, it's not the same thing. On Calis you have a calibration report, which is a factory test. On micrometer there is no factory test report.
Why?
Because that's not part of quality protocol. It's not necessary.
So because every product we need to control quality. So it means we need to calibration before to see.
But for calibration, when you manufacture calibrators, you need to do a factory test report with calibration and with all points. For micrometer, when we do a test, the report is yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes. And every time there is a no, the product is rejected. There is no data, there is nothing. So that's not a report we can communicate to a customer.
We just the paper or the test report with the parameter you take. Maybe the result just appear yes, no, or yes, no only, or completely yes. But our client see, okay, this parameter, this function already tested.
For micrometer, we test each minimum and each maximum of each range. But we will not put them in all our reports. That's too much data. And today, we are not able to edit a proper calibration report like that. Today, the instrument is just telling AOIP that it's good or not. Then, if you need that we do a conformity certificate, AOIP will do. We call the plant, we check if everything is okay. If plant says there is no deviation, either Mrs. Capdevila, either I, we send a conformity certificate. But there is no test report. Same on FD system. FD system, there is no test report delivered with it. Imagine if I put FD 15 channels, universal input. Last time I wanted to check the test done by the USIN, I had 3,000 pages for one unit. That's why we don't do any report, any test report. So if customer wants calibration accredited, fine.
Well, we don't need to appear on what any type of data. We just want the report, the model name and what test type you done with the okay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 something. So the assured client already, the product already passed the quality control process.
We don't have such kind of document.
So that is the one good point, because that is the market demand us.
We can only do conformity certificates, because the list of tests sometimes can be huge.
We just try why so valuable. They can be, but we cannot.
Chauvan cannot.
They can, because they write a specification according to the survival.
I tell Chauvan they don't have any calibration report because it's
Tech
going
report.
out.
Tech report.
They do the same as me, they don't put any value.
Just no need value, just the readout, yes or no. But we should know what type of tech. Client just know that.
We don't do such things. So for Calis, there is a factory test report. For other equipment, we can do a certificate of conformity, but nothing else. Then we have AMS on Calis 150 and Thermis. AMS is for aircraft industry. So you know that you can go in aircraft industry using OM16 and OM17. But with Calis, you have the regulation AMS 2750. If you look at the price list, there is one Calis with the reference AMS. That doesn't mean it is a special Calis. That only means I already do calibration on it according to the norms. So that can be offered. Today, if you go in Singapore, you will find a company called ST Aerospace. They purchase two Calis 150, each of them with a specific IMS. That means we add an additional cost to our standard price. They ordered 4 TC6621 and they wanted them calibrated AMS. That means 1,500 euros of calibration per instrument. TC series, 600 euros. You put 3 times the price of the instrument in the calibration report. Every TC come back in France once a year. For Cali, there is one coming back in France every year, the other one coming back in France every 3 months. So, AMS is a market in aircraft industry where... aircraft industry. AMS, it's a regulation norms for thermocouples measurement. Most of the time, when you sell that, customer will get back to you every year to have a new calibration report. So that's why today it will be highly interesting if you can have your own laboratory. If you can't, check with Isolab. Mr. Fong in Assets will be glad to help you. Then we do on-request certificate. On-request, that means customer wants specific points. For temperature, always recommend to customers to do instrument plus pros. Do a chain. Don't do only one thing. You have to calibrate a chain. If you don't, there is no meaning. The question to ask, the range that required to be on the certificate. Then the number of points per range. Sometimes customer will give you exact point. Might be better. Accuracy level. When we do calibration report, standard one, we put the maximum accuracy level.
Yeah, for temperature and pressure, in our country have several labs can do.
Yeah.
So in most cases, we not see to dispatch the temperature sensor to France or another country.
Yes, but that's what I said. I said we can offer at